Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Valentine's Day. Hope you're having a good day so far. This is my first college basketball video, so you guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit. I've been wanting to dive into this for a little while, and today I was thinking I would put out some plays for the Rising Stars game tonight, and I kind of dove into the idea before I really dove into like my access to the data. For starters, Outlier is not even covering any of these plays, so I wouldn't be able to really dive into my bread and butter for research. And I was, they changed the format. We don't totally know how the new format's going to go with like tournament style, and it's like first team to 40 wins in this little bracket that they've got going. So my concern is that I just have no idea like what to gauge. Last year, I looked up the box score, and like the top scoring players had like 7 or 8 points, and that was a different format than this year. So shout out to Trench. I don't know the rest. It's like 06 Trench, 0 or O Trench 06 IXO. He was really nice. He asked me if I'd start getting into college basketball tomorrow. So there's a bunch of games on Saturday. He was just really nice about my research and my approach. He thinks I would be good at it. And I've been thinking about it anyways. And so I think he's thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Like if I can get access to my data for the college ball, take that same approach that we've been taking on NBA. So I'm going to just dive right in. It's going to take me a little while to really get to know all of these teams and all of these players. I'm going to pronounce players' names wrong and stuff like that. So you guys have to just bear with me. There's going to be times when I take a player and I have no idea that he only was popping off because a better player was injured and that guy's back now. So, but we're going to dive into it. I'm going to hone this skill. And I want this to be a part of what we're doing anyway. So I'm just going to dive in and I'll see how today goes and see if we want to keep rolling this or if I need to just spend some time on my own working on it before I make videos for it. But we're going to try it today because we've been in kind of rhythm here with NBA, and I just don't want to take a full week off. I'm having too much fun, and it's Flex Friday. So these are the 4 plays that I did some research on, and this is what I'm taking for my first try. I'm going to go Nick Davidson forward for Nevada. I'm going with his points and assists over 19.5. And then we're going to go Nevada guard, Kobe Sanders over 25.5 fantasy score. Kobe Johnson, UCLA guard, over 15.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And Umar Balo, Indiana center, over 26.5 fantasy score. So if you guys don't mind, do me a favor, like the video, drop a comment, whatever you prefer. You guys have been really helping me grow. It's been unbelievable. I mean, like I've had my own channel for like less than a month, I think. And you guys got me I'm less than 250 subs away from 1,000 already. You guys have been killing it. So I really appreciate the support, guys. So yeah, let's get some college ball going and have this just a part of what we're doing eventually. So hopefully today goes well for us. All right, so let's start with Nick Davidson here. And Outlier is everything for me. Yeah, as soon as I realized that Outlier is not covering, I can't even look into the numbers for these rising star players. I was like, I'm going to just jump right into college ball. So yeah, if we take a look at his points assists, he's only cleared this 2 out of his last 5. But I really do like him to be able to get this done. If we look at his minutes, they haven't been bad. He's averaging 30.4 minutes a game over the last 5, just 2.6 fouls, averaging 10.6 attempts from the field and shooting 53%. So not too bad. 5.6 made buckets a game over this 5-game stretch, and then 42% from beyond the arc. So 3.8 attempts. Nothing crazy, but he's averaging 1.6 made threes a game. And this is a pretty low line at just 19.5. And I want his assist attached because while he's very volatile, it seems, with assisting the ball, but he is capable of popping off. This last game. He went for 31 points assists and he had 6 assists in that game. If we take a look at this note from Outlier, he has exceeded it in 4 out of his last 5. And then the one that he missed was really close. So he went for 18 in that game. But 4 out of the last 5, pretty solid hit rate, 80% hit rate. If we take a look at the head-to-head, he's done it in every single game. And so he's cleared it points alone in every single game if you prefer that. But it looks like we have 2 games from last year, and then the only time he matched up on January 18th this year when he played against San Jose, he went for 23 points and 4 assists. So even in that last matchup against them, he still had 4 assists. So I'm going to just go ahead and attach the assists. I believe the points were, let's take a look. The points were down at 17.5. So it is a 2-point bump. And you can see he has cleared it on points alone, but I'm just going to add those assists because we saw that he went for 4 in the last head-to-head matchup. In his last outing, he had 6. So I'm just going to take a chance here on attaching the assist just in case we end up needing it. And the assist matchup is much softer. There's so many teams, like typically I would say 30th and, assists allowed, but in this case 271st in assists allowed. So we're just probably going to go yellow, green, or whatever, middle of the road on points, and then soft on assists. So I'm going with the full PA. Let's see what Daily Grind thinks about this play. So looks like, so their favorite is the points rebounds under 23. They have that at a 53.33% odds to hit the under -139. And they actually don't like his points at 18.5. We have multiple, it looks like a lot of them are actually bumping up to 18.5. But we do have BetMGM at 17.5. So they're probably just noticing that that's not the type of value that the optimizer are looking for. So that's at a 51.24% odds to hit the under. I'm not taking his points under. He's cleared it in every single head-to-head. So they don't like the rebounds at 5.5. They do like the full PRA. It's actually just a 50-50 shot. They've got the 50-50 shot on 25.5 PRA, and then they also have a 50-50 shot on the 19.5 points assists. They have it at -128. So they kind of don't know what to call on the points assists. So there's some other options. If you don't like the points assist, you can take one of those other plays. All right, so let's take a look here. So Kobe Johnson for UCLA. This is the one. Let me just, again, this will be a little clunky my first go through. So Kobe Johnson, we did take the PRA. I got 2 Kobe's on here, so I want to make sure I'm thinking about the right guys. So 15.5 PRA. He's cleared this in 3 out of his last 5 games. Over this 5-game stretch, he's averaging 28.6 minutes. We saw a spike here in this game on February 8th. Again, I'm going to have to learn a lot of these teams. It looks like Penn State. And he had 36 minutes in that game. And it kind of seems like when he had those extra minutes, he was definitely popping off. He went for 15 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists. So I love that we're getting the full PRA. This 15.5 line seems like doable to me. Again, averaging 28 minutes, 58% from the field on 7.2 attempts. And he shot great in that game against Penn State. He had 12 attempts and he shot 58%. Not really doing well from beyond the arc, though. He is taking 2.8 attempts a game over this 5-game stretch, only shooting 29%. So he's got to fix that a little bit. But if we look at his last 10, I think it looks pretty solid too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 7 out of his last 10 games, he's cleared this as well. And seeing this spike, I know it was just this one game, but seeing that 13 rebounds and 6 assists makes me think like, okay, so he's clearly capable of rebounding. And that looks like maybe his ceiling at 6 assists. I mean, his last outing, he didn't have any assists. But it looks like when he's got a little bit of a softer matchup, he's capable of doing a lot. We got middle of the road matchup across the board, points, rebounds, and assists. And 7 out of the last 10, I'll take it. Let's take a look at this note from Outlier. So he's actually cleared it in... He's cleared it in 10 out of his last 13 games. So he's averaging 18.1 PRA right now over his last 13 games, 77% hit rate. So, just applying the data and taking a look, this is what we're looking for. Just out of curiosity, let's see how he's done on the road. 2024. Oh, look at that, 86% hit rate on the road. So that is another plus we've got here. 6 out of 7 games he's cleared this on the road. So in these road games, he's averaging 29 minutes. So just about what we were looking at for his regular, season numbers. 3.6 fouls, not necessarily getting in foul trouble, but looks like these last 2 games he was kind of getting up there. So hopefully we don't run into that issue today. Let's see. It looks like it affected his minutes just a little bit there as well. So hopefully he's not getting in foul trouble. But yeah, on the road, he's shooting 50% from beyond the arc, 3.4 attempts, and 55% from the field on 6.6 attempts. So I'm loving what we're seeing here. So I'm feeling comfortable. Let's take a look, daily grind real quick. Okay, so they like his overs across the board. They like his points over 7.5, 52.37% odds hit the over minus 131. They like him to get 2 steals. Maybe we should look at his, maybe we should look at his fantasy score. I'll take a look at that in a second. But the PRA right there, their third favorite, 51.3% odds hit the over minus 134. We got some minus 140s. So everyone that's given us this at 15.5 has it pretty heavily juiced. They also like the points rebounds at 13.5, the points assists. They like everything of his, it looks like. But it is making me wonder if I should have grabbed that fantasy score. Let's take a look here. So let's see what he's been doing. We'll go last 10, take a look at the steals since they don't have blocks and steals together. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that game when he really popped off, he had 4 steals. That would be 12 fantasy score. So I could see the intrigue behind taking fantasy score if you guys prefer. Let's take a look at this last 10 fantasy score. So fantasy score, he's hit it 6 out of his last 10. And then the PRA that we're taking, we said 7, right? Yeah, so I do still feel more comfortable. Let's see how he's been on turnovers. Not too bad. Nothing scary enough to mitigate the upside of the defense, defensive scoring for fantasy score. So whatever of those you prefer, if they like him to go over 2 steals, if Daily Grind likes him to go over 2 steals, that's 6 points right there, fantasy score. So go with your gut. Let's see the matchup. Let's look at the matchup for steals. Okay, so middle of the road on steals allowed. So yeah, we got a couple options here. I already have the PRA locked in, so I'm sticking with that. But it does make me wonder if they think the steals are going over. That makes me want to look at the fantasy score. But let's keep moving on here. So, all right, so Nevada guard Kobe Sanders. 3 out of his last 5 games. Now this is one we did take the fantasy score on. 3 out of his last 5 games, he's hit this. Came pretty close in the 2 that he missed. Went for 25.3 and then 21.3. Over these last 5 games, man, in these games too, like this one against UNLV, when he didn't hit it, he only had 20 minutes, so a little bit more time and he would have cashed that. But yeah, 10.6 attempts, so not too bad on the attempts, and then 43%, 4.6 made buckets. Not really shooting great from beyond the arc, 3.8 attempts a game and just 1 made 3 a game right now, averaging 3 attempts a game from the free throw line. That can still help us stack up just a little bit, but he's shooting 93%, and then 2.6 fouls a game over this 5-game stretch. So nothing to be concerned about there. If we take a look at this note here, this is beautiful. So he's exceeded 25.5 fantasy score in 8 out of his last 10 games on the road. So he's playing good on the road. He's averaging 33.5 fantasy score on the road. Let's look at these steals here. Yeah, this is what we want with fantasy score. Only 1 game without at least one steal. They don't have his blocks listed. Let's take a look here. On the road, is that what we're looking at? Yeah, so 7 straight games on the road, he's got at least 1 steal. He's averaging almost 2. 1.9 is his average right now on the road. So that's great for the fantasy score as well. And then let's take a look at the turnovers just to make sure we're not mitigating. Okay, so earlier on in these last 10, he was getting quite a bit, but still, even then, if we look at the last 10 turnovers versus steals, yeah, if he's hitting 3, it's a wash on the 1 steal. But if you've got that other steal in these games where he got at least 2, you're still getting those 3 net points on fantasy score. So let's take a look. We're going to go back to fantasy score real quick. Take a look at the head-to-head. Yeah, so the head-to-head's beautiful. Both times that he's matched up. Looks like 1 from last year and then 1 on the 18th of January. Both times he went for 30. In these games, he averaged 30 minutes, 44% from the field, and a little bit of a bump in attempts, 12.5 attempts on the road, and then still not great shooting from beyond the arc, 29%, but he's still averaging that 1 made 3. But that's just because he had 2 in the first matchup. He was 0 for 4 last time they matched up. But I feel good about this, all things considered. Let's take a look here at daily grind. All right. They're probably not going to show us the fantasy score, I would guess, but they are loving just about everything for him. So they like his assists as the best play. Over 3.5, they have it at a 52.41% odds to hit the over, -129. And then we've got the points, rebounds, and assists. They love that to go over 21.5, which is basically what we're taking with fantasy score, but we're just taking that upside of the defense. That looked like it was pretty solid. And they like his points over 13.5. They like his points, rebounds. The points rebounds are actually just a 50-50 shot, but the points alone they like to go over, but their favorite play is 3.5 assists, so you could take a look at that if you wanted to pivot. And then the last play, Umar Balo. I'm saying these names like such a rookie, but I did watch some film on this guy, and the center, he looks pretty solid. So I want his fantasy score because I want that defensive upside as usual. As far as the fantasy score goes, he's cleared it in just 2 out of his last 5 games. See, the minutes kind of correlate there a little bit. Actually, this last one where he hit against MSU, he actually only played 26 minutes. But over these last 5, he's averaging 29 minutes a game, 59% from the field, probably mostly dunks and putbacks, but 7.4 attempts, 4.4 made buckets a game, literally not shooting any threes and not getting to the line that often, just 3 attempts a game, but averaging 1.6 made free throws a game, 2.4 fouls. This last game, when he still cleared his fantasy score, he had 5 fouls. So he's a little volatile. It's like he's next to nothing, or he's got 5 fouls in the game. So hopefully he doesn't get into foul trouble today. But we can see. I wonder if he didn't have that many minutes, did he go crazy with the steals and blocks? So he had 1 block in that game. Or I'm sorry, 1 steal, no blocks. So yeah, but he does seem to get a little bit of those defensive marks that we're wanting. Let's take a look at a little note here. So he's exceeded 26.5 fantasy score in 4 out of his last 5 games at home. So he's been playing pretty solid at home, averaging 34.7 fantasy score at home. And then if we take a look at the head-to-head, I think okay. So it doesn't look great when you first look at it, but if you take a look at the minutes, so first time he matched up was last year in January, and then he went for 35.1 fantasy score. And then this last time was also from last year. He only went for 18.6. But if we take a look at the minutes here, you can see he had 33 minutes in this game that he cleared it. And then he only played 18 minutes and was averaging 1 fantasy score a minute. So, I mean, you could argue last time he played 33 minutes, he went for 35. It's kind of in that same range. If he's averaging a point a minute, then, if he got even just 27 minutes, that should have put us over that with what he was averaging. So I think this was more of a minutes thing than anything. And it doesn't look like he was in foul trouble or anything, but let's take a look at the defensive upside. Okay, so he actually was better defensively in that game. He had 2 steals. Let's see if he had any blocks. Yeah, no blocks in either of these head-to-head matchups, but those steals are probably what bumped up that fantasy score for us. So these are going to be the 2 I'm going with. Let's take a look here. Let's look at the matchup for the PRA real fast. Okay, so tough matchup with points and rebounds. 23rd in points allowed, 47th in rebounds allowed, and then middle of the road, but still above average, 131st in assists allowed. So go with your gut. I'm feeling good about him being able to get this done. I'm pretty sure he's starting. I took a look over here. As far as RotoWire is concerned, he's going to be starting tonight. And that's probably obvious to a lot of you guys. But again, I'm just getting into this. These are the 4 that I'm going to be rolling with. If you guys have plays that you're excited about, just let me know in the comments, because I'm probably going to make some more slips. We can kind of work out some plays too, like even if it's guys that I'm unfamiliar with. If you're curious about anything, just let me know. I'll go on Outlier. I'll do a little bit of research. Let's take a look at Umar real fast on Daily Grind, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, so they don't like his points over 12.5. They have that favored to the under. 52.92% odds to hit the under -134. They like his rebounds and assists over 9.5. They have it at a 51.59% odds to hit the over -134. You know what? Let me see. What did I get this at? Did this get bumped on me? No, 26.5. Just making sure. So yeah, they don't like the PRA at 22.5. They have that at a 51.05% odds to hit the under -131. They do like his points assists just slightly, and they're not showing the. I mean, they have his steals at a 50-50 shot, but they're not showing the fantasy score. Daily Grind must not. I'm sure they'll get it eventually, but it looks to me so far that they don't pull up the fantasy score on here for college ball. So. Yeah, there's some pivots if you prefer. Again, rebounds and assists, they like to go over. Points, assists, they like to go over. And points, rebounds, they just don't like. It looks like, yeah, it looks like you're probably getting like a 0.5 bump for the full PRA altogether, I'm guessing, is why they, well, let's take a look real quick. So 14, B23. Okay, so it looks like you're even getting a discount if I'm doing my math right. Oh, no, okay, no, we're not. So that's right. So it's 22 if you just add the points and then the rebounds and assists line together. It's 22 flat. And then, yeah, so it is a 0.5 bump. That's the only reason they probably don't like it. So go with your gut. Hopefully I can get rolling with this. We'll see how the first slip goes, but appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to like the video. Drop me a comment if you have any questions. If you guys want to check out Daily Grind, you can try this app out. You don't try it out. You still pay for it, but you get 25% off. Just use code BACKDOOR over at dgfantasy.com. They'll give you 25% off your first subscription. You can spread that out all the way up to a year if you want. And then Outlier, this is my favorite app. I don't make plays without this app. And you can try this one for free. Just sign up through the link below for Outlier, and they're going to give you a week just to see how you like it. And it's a little bit more limited from what I'm seeing. I'm still getting a lot of great information. It's a little bit more limited from what they give me for NBA. Like you can take players in and out of the equation. You can take a look at like rest days, which is still available here. But one thing I like that I'm not seeing on here so far is the minutes bar. When I'm looking at NBA plays, I love being able to tweak the minutes bar and see what players are doing, based on the minutes that I'm hoping they get. So anyways, guys, have a good one, and I'll catch you in the next video.